Hello, and welcome back to another FPL video. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to create a bench boost draft for game week 1, and then we're going to decide if that strategy is worth it and what can we do if we do that strategy to proceed forward. It's not only you activate the game week 1 chip and then it's all done, but then you have to go and play up until game week 38 with the draft you've chosen for game week 1. So let's see if it's supposed to activate the wild card or then just wait and see. A lot of options, but now let's start preparing. So if we're going for a game week 1 draft, the thing is we need to focus home fixtures and players that are playing regularly and a solid bench, so we cannot afford to put in a lot of cheap players there as we want to rely on them. So let's start building step by step. This strategy requires two playing goalkeepers as well, so that might be a little bit tough as well, but let's see what can we do. So once again, even if you're activating the bench boost chip, you need a captain, and the best captain for game week 1 in my opinion is Mohamed Salah. So Mo Salah is coming into the frame. I'm activating the bench boost and we'll see. So Mo Salah, he's not going anywhere outside of this squad because we need him, and we need him for sure to score pretty good points. Now with this draft it's going to be really tough to fit in Haaland, as we will need to have 15 playing players, but we will try our best. Without him, it's going to be easy to fit in another premium player that is having a really good game week 1 fixture, and that is Heung-min Son. From Son, you can go then to Palmer, you can go to Saka, you can go to Foden in game week 2, so you have possibilities. But for game week 1, a Spurs player for me is a must, as they face a newly promoted side. A third team that faces a newly promoted side is going to be Newcastle, and then they face Southampton at home, so Isaac is directly coming into the draft. Having prepared already our structure, we know the three teams that are we going to target mostly. That is going to be Liverpool, Spurs, and Newcastle. From Liverpool, I am tempted to go for a second attacker. I don't know if that is going to work or not, but for now that is a viable strategy. So with that viable strategy, I'm immediately adding Diogo Jota. For me, he is going to start as a striker for Liverpool, and for game week 1, you are attacking game week 1 solely, in my opinion, and you need players facing Ipswich and then having a pretty good fixture run in advance, so it's not such a bad thing to prepare better for the upcoming fixtures. You can rely on Jota. If he's not playing, you can immediately sell him. So a second attacker from Liverpool. We are now going to deliberate their defenders, but by the looks of it, we are not going to see Robertson in game week 1. So that means that we can save a little bit of money by going for a player called Tsimikas. He's 5 million. He is performing really good in preseason. If Robertson does not come back, he is 2 million cheaper than Trent. And for game week 1, it's good to have a Liverpool defender as they face Ipswich. And this is going to save you some headaches if Trent is playing, if he's not playing. So a second Liverpool player is into the frame. Now, Gordon hasn't been playing or training with the Newcastle squad yet, so it's a little bit difficult to predict if he is going to start and who else is going to start in that Newcastle midfield. So I'm going to hold myself there for a bit. The same for Spurs. Yeah, you can go for Kulusevski and Johnson, but for me, another player from Spurs that you can go for is called Poro. And for me, he is the best option to go for. I have him in my regular draft, not only for game week 1, so opting for him for game week 1 and then for game week 2 as well, it's really good. Tsimikas, if Robertson by any miracle returns quickly to the lineup, you can either transfer him out, you can go for someone else at 5 million, or just completely forget about that and go for an even cheaper defender, but still that is a good option. Looking at the fixtures, it's tough to decide who should you pick on the goalkeepers department because there haven't been too many players that are standing out. Yes, we have Henderson. Sorry, I'm always forgetting about Johnston. It's Henderson who is from Palace. So I'll be adding a Palace player here. For me, pretty good and pretty nailed. The issue here is that the other goalkeeper that I want to recommend you to go for is as well from Brentford. So in my opinion, a 5 million keeper is going to be needed here. So that is the first thing I don't like, opting for a 5 million keeper and a 4.5, because this destroys the benefit of having two keepers. Yeah, you can go for as mentioned, the Chelsea keeper, but they face City, Brighton. We're not sure if Verburgen is up to par for game week 1. After that, it's a tough run of fixtures, but you can rely on Henderson either way. Arsenal, Villa, Bournemouth. I'm not too excited by their keeper, so I'm going to risk it. And I'm going to say to you, go for Nottingham Forest keeper, as they have a good fixture run and they have pretty solid defenses. Now, this team has a lot of things and we still have 42 million in the bank, so we're safe to go a little bit bonkers elsewhere. So let's see what are we going to do, especially when we add the next defender. That is going to be Barco for 4 million. I don't think you can go better. Everton are not a team that are pretty comfortable scoring goals, so a bench boost activated and Barco in defense is a pretty solid option. Elsewhere from the defensive department, you can go for an Arsenal player, but I quite like how Wolves were playing in preseason. Brentford, but I like Palace as well. Everton, but they face Brighton. Fulham is an interesting team because here I would recommend, even though they face Manchester United, this guy Robinson has been playing really well in preseason and he has been pretty attacking. And even though it's Manchester United away from home, he can do bits and then he is a safe option going forward into the season. So I quite like him and I will be putting him into the draft. And the last player is going to be a Newcastle player. We don't know if Trippier is staying or not, but for sure, not for sure, but 90% he's not starting game week 1, so you can go and have Livramento. And now you have a pretty solid defense for cheap. Basically, you don't own any one of the expensive guys. Like if you go to defenders and see, you can go for White, you can go for any of the Liverpool defenders that are there, but Tsimikas can cover everything and you still have 4 attacking players to fit in. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But mentioning Palace are a really strong side. I know that Eze haven't been seen yet in preseason, but I believe he's an immediately sworn in, as they don't have already Mateta and Olise who was sold. So I believe Eze is starting in game week 1. Now the budget is 22 million for 3 players, so that's around 7 million per player. We wouldn't be going that high for everyone, so seeing the rest of the teams and where we can go, we don't own a City player, which looks a little bit tricky, but I have a secret player that I want to mention, that is Oscar Bob. Having Oscar Bob in the lineup for bench boost is a good thing. You have a City player, then you can sell Son, Diogo Jota or anyone for another City guy, but for me Bob is starting game week 1, especially with the guys not already playing. He will have some minutes, so he can be quite a good differential. And Chelsea away, yeah, it might be a difficult fixture on paper, but I don't consider it that difficult. Yes, we have a lot of budget still, so let's try and find where we can spend it. We can go and immediately spend it on Watkins. I know that he once again hasn't been seen in preseason, but still 8 million and 9 million for him is a good number. And the last player here that I want to mention is Kai Havertz. Rice will be given some time to fit in my opinion, Saka as well, but Havertz has been participating in the preseason for a while. So having this draft, it looks pretty interesting, it looks pretty alright. And I believe with it, as you fill up the whole budget, you can go and survive several weeks with it. So not only will be activating the bench boost chip in game week 1, but then you are going to go in game week 2, and then you have Brentford, Everton, Leicester, Ipswich for Bob. You can bench whoever you feel like benching if Bob is playing at all. If not, you just keep that lineup. So then you go in game week 3. Then you can keep an Arsenal player or you can sell him together with Son and fit in someone who is playing. Maybe you can go for Haaland. And here, no, you won't have the money, so Haaland is off the books. But anyone apart from Haaland is an option. So let's say Tony is performing well against Southampton, and then you have 10.5 to go for Palmer. So you're in a good position. So I quite like this draft as a bench boost game week 1. It's heavily Liverpool stacked, and you might probably need to sell Jota and Tsimikas at some point. But apart from that, all of those players are nailed. Yeah, Bob, but he's your 8 attacker. You can survive without him. Barco is okay. Livramento might be an issue, but still, you'll be selling Tsimikas for a playing player. So, yeah, you might need to waste some transfers, but this bench boost draft is quite good in my opinion. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm not too disappointed with it. I don't know what to think about that strategy. I will be avoiding that. If I were you, I would be avoiding that strategy as well, because we don't know anything about the teams yet apart from preseason, and preseason data is never thing to rely on. So I would highly recommend keep the bench boost. You have a better opportunity during the season to utilize it. So just don't waste it now. You can get a lot of points last season if you activated the bench boost correctly and you used it as best to its extent. It would have gotten you around 30 points. With this draft, I don't see extra 30 points coming. Yeah, Barco and Livramento can keep a clean sheet, but it doesn't look like it's something amazing of numbers. So yeah, I wouldn't be going for that strategy if I were you, because then I will be persuaded to transfer out some players, maybe believe in others. It's a tough rotation, it's a tough thing. So yeah, if I were you, I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't be doing that. I know that you know who is starting basically in game week 1, but you don't know how the team are going to play in game week 1. So yeah, a lot of different options to go for a bench boost, and we don't know the mystery chip what it's going to be, so it might benefit the bench boost, might not. So we have to see, wait and see. I will be monitoring everything. If you want to be part of the monitoring process or want to see more from me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for I don't have a specific number. Let's go for as high as possible, and let's keep the viewers and community growing. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, don't be afraid, ask them. If you want to join my mini league, there is a link in the description for a direct join, or you can copy and paste the code that is as well in the description. You can become a member to the channel where you get some really good benefits, and add addition to an extra mini league where you can earn cash prizes. So yeah, all of those good stuff are down in the description. If you are watching so far, thank you very much for being part of the community. Thank you very much for being part of this channel, and I hope to see you very soon, maybe with another stream. We'll think about it. So for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.